So we want to be loved, we want to be important, we want to belong. We have a strong need and drive and desire to believe in things. So what of the next psychological driver? My sister, bless her, has only ever lived in 3 houses in her lifetime. She was brought up in the house we were brought up in as kids. Then when she got married, she moved within a mile of my mother and father in a little mill town that I'm from. And then when she was 39 years old, she and her husband and the family moved into a bungalow, a one-level house on the new estate, within a mile of my mum and dad. And I said to her at the time, "Chris, why have you moved into a bungalow? Only 39, why a bungalow?" And she said, "Well, Phil, we talked about stretching ourselves like you've done, but Phil, we'll finish up in a bungalow. So we just thought we'd go straight there." And that's okay, because what my sister wants in her life is a whole pile of certainty. She likes to be certain of everything. She doesn't have a passport. Went to France once, didn't like it. Just full of foreigners, she said. And it sounds like a joke, but it's not. It's okay. See, what we want in our lives is a balance of certainty and uncertainty. Some people like extreme sports. Some people like to go on holiday the same place every year. It's okay. What drives us is a need for some certainty in our lives. So most people want to be certain of where they live. They want to be certain that their friends love them. They want to be certain that their car will start each day. They want to be certain of their job. But we want some uncertainty in our life. It's probably best if you think of going to the cinema or going to the theatre or going to a football match, a cricket match, a rugby match. What you want if you're going to any of these kind of events is you want to be certain of what time it starts. You want to be certain you've got a seat. You want to be certain of where to park your car. But you don't want the certainty of outcome. Because if we know exactly what's going to happen, it takes away all the thrill. So we want this balance in our lives. And often people don't do what you want them to do because they're uncertain about their future. They don't think their future will be better if they go along with your idea. And it's usually because of uncertainty. So the next great question to ask someone is there anything you're uncertain about? Or what is it that you're uncertain about? Or tell me about your worries. Because all of us worry, and we worry mainly about something that's unlikely to happen. We worry about the future because we're not certain. So actually what we want is to be reassured that there's some certainty in our lives if we take a particular step. And as I say, some people are very happy to do extreme things and take great gambles. And we need those kind of entrepreneurs. We need people to climb mountains. We need people to want to go to the moon, of all those good things. But we also need people who need a lot of certainty. And when I used to employ people, I always found it very interesting. If somebody thought they were in the chance of losing the job, just thought they might be made redundant, they couldn't function properly because they were uncertain. And a lot of people need to feel certain, particularly about their job. So if you employ people, make sure people feel part of what you're doing and they have a certain future. But you need some uncertainty too. So here again is the top tip from this psychological driver, this need we have to have some certainty and some uncertainty in our lives. Whoever it is you're trying to influence, say to them, is there anything you're uncertain about? Tell me what you're not sure about, and then discuss it. As a professional speaker, one of the nice things about the job, one of the interesting things about the job is I get to meet famous people. Every year, Olympic athletes, TV presenters, prime ministers. And if I get a chance to chat to these people, I always ask them, what is it that drives you? What is it that really makes you want to be the best golfer in the world or climb Everest? Or what is it? And they all broadly give me the same answer, that they're driven. Like it's not their fault. And this next psychological driver is all about this need that we have for more or for growth. Now, I used to employ people and I used to say to people, what are you worth to us in salary reviews? And somebody on 30 grand a year thinks they should be on 35. Somebody on 50 thinks they should be on 55. Somebody on 100 thinks they're worth 110,000. And I say, no. Not what are you earning now plus 10%. What do you think you're worth to us? And nobody ever properly answered this question other than just thought they were worth more Why? Because you want more. I run, not at any level. I do the park run on a Saturday. And one of the beautiful things about the park run is your run is timed, and you get an email a couple of hours after you've finished to tell you what your time is. And everybody I know wants to do a better time than last week or last month. And you yourself, if you're into any kind of sport at all, you'll want to improve. Why is this? Because we want more. Now, the irony of this is that it's not just about more money. So for some people it is. For some people it's about more happiness. There's an academic called Daniel Gilbert done a lot of work on happiness, and everybody thinks their happiest days are still ahead of them because we want more. We want more happiness. In academics, they want to produce more papers. A very good friend of mine has written more books than his age. Quite remarkable, really. Why? Because we want more. And so to tap into this driver, what we want to do is say to people, well, what do you want more of? It'd be easy to assume that it's just about money if you employ people, but often their job title becomes very important to them. They want to be a senior account manager rather than an account manager. And it's something that you might not see as important, but it's something that they want more of. For some people, the nature of the car that they drive is important. For some people, they want a bigger house. We're all driven for more, but driven by different things. And so what we've got to do is say to people, tell me what it is that you like, tell me what you want more of, and then tap into that and see if you can help them achieve their goal of achieving more. And sometimes it's just about more time, but we all want more. We all want growth. So let's look then at all 7 psychological drivers. We want to be loved, we want to be important, and we want to belong. We have a strong need, drive, and desire to believe in things. We like a balance of certainty and uncertainty in our lives, and we want more, we want growth. So these are the first 6. Let's now look at the 7th one. If you're at home watching television and you have a significant other, I'll gamble you always sit in the same seat, and so do they. Why is this? It's part of this need and drive and desire we have for a place. And often people will come into a meeting, they'll hang their coat up on the back of a chair, and that then becomes their place. And this need and drive and desire we have for a place manifests itself, of course, at home. We want a place, we want something that's our own. And so when we look at job satisfaction, often when people have had an office environment where they had their own office and then go to open plan, often goes horribly wrong initially because people lose this place that they had. And if we look at the job satisfaction that people have, in fact, the University of Chicago did this research amongst 10,000 Americans. In fact, the same research was done by the British government looking at job satisfaction. And the question I was most interested in is, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is highly satisfied with your job and 1 is you're not satisfied with your job, where are you? And if you look at the top 10 jobs, they're pretty much the same on both sides of the Atlantic. And it all comes down to one word. It comes down to people who care for people. So doctors, nurses, teachers of special needs, people who care for other people. Mainly, incidentally, people who wear a uniform. And why is this? It's because it taps into the drivers. The number 1 job on both sides of the Atlantic was the clergy. Vicars, priests, ministers, rabbis, all denominations, they were the people with the most job satisfaction. Why is this? Because they feel loved, because they feel important, because they belong to something. They have a congregation, a parish. They have a very strong belief in something. They have a balance of certainty and uncertainty in their life, which they like. They think there's more after all this, and they have a place of worship. And that's what makes us all tick. It's what makes us happy. This feeling and this need that we have to belong and to have more and to have a place, to feel we can identify with something that's our own. So let's recap on the kind of questions that tap into this before we go on to the next phase. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be important. So the most important and the universal question is always, what is the most important thing to you about. And then you always say, why is that? So what is the most important thing to you about our relationship? Well, it is this. Okay, why is that? In other words, you always ask a question after the question. And to tap into this, you say, what is the most frustrating thing for you about? Why is that? And all of the time, what we're doing is we're trying to form this cabal that we mentioned earlier, this feeling that it's me and you together. I'm not trying to persuade you to do something. I'm just trying to influence you so you want to do something, because people do things for their reasons and not yours. We have a strong need, drive and desire to believe in things. So we need to say to people, what is it makes you think that way? Oh, tell me more about that. Is there any evidence to support that? In order to explore why they have that belief, because you can't just tell them that they're wrong. We need this certainty and uncertainty in our lives. So we need to say to people, is there anything you're worried about? Is there anything you're uncertain about? What do you want more of? And we need to respect the fact that people need and drive a desire to have a place of their own.